Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to show you how to set up OBS so that you can stream to either YouTube or to Twitch, and you can also use this to record your gameplay, which looks really nice that you can do your own uploads as well. Now this is going to be just a very basic overview of how to get things set up. If you want more things to look, more custom or anything like that, I could always make another video if you want. Just leave it in the comments if you have anything that you want me to explain, and I can do that for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to my desktop so I can walk you through these easy steps. And if you like this video, please like the video. And if you want more tips like this, comment down below what you'd like to see, and don't forget to subscribe. So let's go ahead and jump over to my desktop. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is actually download Open Broadcaster software, or OBS as everyone knows it as, and I recommend getting to OBS Studio. Now, at the time of recording this video, the newest version is 28.1.1, and this came out just 2 days ago on November 1st. Now, you are going to need to pick your operating system. For me, it's going to be on Windows. I'm going to go ahead and click on Windows. That is going to go ahead and download it, and then there's some basic getting starting guides if you want to look through those. After that, you're going to need to open the file to actually install it. Now, I did get a prompt to allow the program to run as an administrator. You will need to allow that through, and then you can basically just follow the bouncing ball and just click next on each thing. Okay, so after OBS is successfully installed, this is the opening window that you will see. This is the auto configuration wizard, and what it wants you to do is decide how you want to use the software. Are you going to be optimized for streaming, optimized for recording, or using it as a virtual camera? Now, for me, I'm going to do optimize for streaming because recording is secondary, because the main focus here is to be able to stream to our platform of choice. You're going to click next, and you can decide what your base canvas resolution is. Now, your canvas is going to be this little black box in the background right here. This is where you're going to put all of your stuff onto the screen. If you have a basic monitor, almost all monitors nowadays are 1920 by 1080, as that is kind of the default, and so I would recommend using that. That doesn't mean necessarily that your video is going to be streamed at 1920 by 1080, but that is what your basic monitor will look like. Now, on the drop down for FPS, definitely you want to do either 30 or 60 or 30, but prefer 60 when possible. That is what most people want to stream at. If you have a slower internet speed and your upload speed's not very fast, then you could use 30 instead, but I would recommend either doing 60 or 30, but prefer 60, or just locking it to 60. So I'm just going to put mine at 60 because that's what I want. It's 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second. You're going to go ahead and click next and then decide your service. So for me, I use YouTube, but you can use Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, Restream, and there's even more. So there's a bunch more. If you go through and do show all, you can stream to almost any of the streaming sites. Now, the best way to definitely get this going is to connect your account. So if you were going to use Twitch, for instance, you would click Connect Account. That would open up a web browser and let you log into Twitch. That's the fastest way to do it. You can also use a stream key, but I recommend doing the Connect Account. Now, I am going to go ahead and connect my account real fast off the video since I don't want my information popping up. And so we'll go ahead and go and jump into the next scene. After you successfully log into the service of your choice, you're going to get some options. Now, this has two options: prefer hardware encoding and estimate the bitrate with bandwidth test. I recommend leaving both of these checked and go ahead and click next. This is going to actually perform a test of your internet speed to verify what your upload and download is to get the best recommended settings for the service that you have chosen. Now, this might take a minute or two depending on how fast your internet is, so we'll go ahead and just sit here and wait for a second. Okay, after that is completed, you're going to get to this page right here. This is the final result. So it is recommending that I have it set to 6000 bitrate, which should be pretty good quality. The streaming encoder is going to be using the NVENC H264. That means my video card is going to be handling the streaming encoder as well as the recording encoder. The quality should be high quality with a medium file size. Base canvas is 1920 by 1080. The output is going to be the same resolution. That's the resolution that will be actually sent to Twitch in this instance. And my frames per second will be 60. So I'm going to click apply. Now that is the very basic to get set up, but now we need something to actually stream to Twitch. So let's go ahead and add some sources. After the wizard, you're going to see you have a collection of scenes on the left, you have your sources in the middle, and then you have your audio mixer right here. Now I have zoomed in so that you can't see the other stuff to the right of that. These are the main three that we're going to be focusing on. Now some basic things that you're going to want to probably add is the gameplay itself, a webcam if you have one, your microphone so that people can hear you, and you might even want to do some sort of overlay or some kind of notification like when someone follows or subscribes to your channel. The best place to start is adding your game. So just go ahead and click the little plus button down here in sources, and we're going to do a game capture. Now you can name this whatever you want. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to leave it whatever the default setting is. So game capture, and we want to make sure the source is visible. I'm going to uncheck it so I can show you how to fix this if you don't see it, but you want to make sure that's checked. Now here it's going to capture any full screen application, or if you want, you can have it do like a specific window. I actually prefer doing a specific window just because then if something else is full screen, it doesn't confuse it, and I can say this window is my game. Just for this video, we're going to leave it on capture any full screen application. You do want it to capture the cursor so that it can see your mouse. If you don't want it to be able to see your mouse at all, you would just uncheck this option. I would leave everything else as default and click OK. Now, like I said, because I did not set it as visible, nothing's ever going to show up until I come down here and click on this little eyeball. That is actually going to make it visible. The next thing you have is this little padlock right here, and that will lock the settings of the source that you have right here, which is for this case the game. Now by default on OBS you're going to have a microphone, which will be your default input for your microphone, and desktop audio, which is also going to be your default. If you don't know what those are, we're going to click on the settings menu on the bottom right hand corner. And then from here, you can see what those each are. So under audio, we're going to have the global audio devices. And here's what it is. For desktop, mine is set as default. You can also choose a specific one if you want. So I'm going to set mine to my headset, as I know that's what I want to be able to hear from. And for the mic, the default, I'm actually going to set it up as my microphone. Now I use NVIDIA Broadcast, but for this, we're just going to use the standard audio. So that's what your audio should look like in this situation. Another way to do this, and the way that I actually use this, is disabling all of these and then adding sources for each one so that I can use buttons on my phone to actually disable them, like mute my microphone, for instance. We're going to apply those settings and click OK. And now I've got my microphone right here. You can see it's showing some movement as I talk, and then there's no sound playing, so the desktop audio is quiet. We also have our game capture. Now I'm going to go ahead and launch Fortnite just because that's a very popular game, and that way you can see what it looks like when it's showing up in the screen. Okay, so I have launched Fortnite. You can probably hear the lobby music in the background, and you'll notice that I don't have anything showing up on my screen. So the way that I am going to fix this is I am going to make it so that it is actually set to a specific window. So I'm going to do capture specific window. It already knows I want Fortnite, so I'm going to click on Fortnite and click OK. So here is my game. Now, technically at this point, you could just start streaming right now. You have the game up, you have your audio for both the desktop and your microphone. You could technically start streaming and you would be able to see this in the stream. So to add your camera to the scene so that people can see you, we're going to click Add Source and Video Capture Device. I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Like I said, I'm going to leave the names default so that you guys know what they're called and this they show up down here. Now you need to pick your device from the drop down. A lot of you will probably have like HD camera or whatever yours is called. The C920 is a very popular camera, so that's what a lot of people are going to see. I personally am going to be using my NVIDIA broadcast camera, as that is my webcam piped through the NVIDIA broadcast software to remove the background from my screen without a green screen. There I am. I can already see myself, which is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and click OK. And this is a problem. No one's going to want to watch this. I guarantee it. What you can do is you can grab the little corners of the screen where these red dots are, and yoink, I go down, and now I'm a lot smaller. This is a lot more enjoyable to watch, I'm sure, and you can move it anywhere you need to on the screen. Now, if you're happy with the location and the size, you can lock the camera right here with this little padlock, and now I can't drag. You'll see I'm trying to drag and I cannot move anything at all on the screen. So now we have our mic, we have our desktop audio, we have our webcam right here, and we have our gameplay. This right here is the most basic generic setup, and you are good to go. You can also add, if you want to, some alerts. Now, alerts are going to be from another website, such as Stream Elements or Streamlabs or whatever you're going to use. You would need to add those alerts. To do so, you're going to click the plus icon and click on browser. That's because it is a browser source that you're going to be using. I'm going to go ahead and call it browser, but I'm also going to put a little tab and just say alerts so that we know what this is. We're going to click OK. And here it's going to ask for the URL, the width, the height, custom CSS, all this stuff. First thing I always do is clear out the custom CSS, as that is not needed. And I will go ahead and just leave this how this is for right now. You would need to paste in your Stream Elements or Streamlabs alert URL, and that's going to be given to you when you make it. There'll be an option to copy it on both of those. Width and height, I normally leave whatever the default is unless the website says otherwise. So we're just going to say OK. Now this would be where my alerts are going to be. I normally put them about middle of the screen, and sometimes it's hard to get that just to be perfect. So I'll show you a little trick. If you right click on the source and you go to transform, here's where you can set the different things that you want to transform. So center to screen. Boom, now it's dead center of my screen. You can also do other things such as center vertically or horizontally. This is really helpful if you want to put it up top maybe. So let's say I want it 25 pixels or 26, whatever, from the top, but I want to make sure it's centered. Just right click, go to transform, and set it horizontally. Now it is centered right in the middle. So during gameplay while you're playing, this wouldn't actually be here because you'd have your alert window, so it would just be a blank screen. And if someone follows, donates to your stream or whatever, the alert would pop up, and then after a few seconds, it would disappear again. That's what it would look like. Obviously, this is just a placeholder and not the actual URL. Again, I'm going to go ahead and lock that just so I don't accidentally move it, as that would not be good because then I would have a lot of problems. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys is some settings that you can go through and make things look a little better or more to your liking. So to get to settings, you just go down here to controls and click settings, or you can go to file settings. This will bring up the basic settings menu, and under general, there's not a whole lot that you're going to need to even look at. There is the snap sensitivity if you want it to automatically snap to certain things. That's really nice when you have more than one source. You can put things like right underneath your camera, for instance. You can also do some other stuff. I honestly would just ignore this page unless you're trying to change the theme. Under stream, this is going to be where your stuff is. So this is your service. For this video, we did Twitch. The server is just auto recommended, and you can do the bandwidth test if you need to, but because it's already set up, we shouldn't have to do anything. And then there's different Twitch chat add-ons. So if you use Twitch, you're probably used to Better TTV and Frankerface. I would just enable both of those if you have them. That'll help you out a lot. Now for your output, there's the simple settings and the advanced settings. For this, let's just stick with simple. And this is actually the settings that it chose for us. So the video bitrate was 6000, the encoder was the NVENC H264. So I would just go ahead and leave it like this, as this is going to be the best way to get going. Now you can change this if you want to, and if you go into advanced, you can set different things such as your recording quality versus your streaming quality. So if you want your recordings to look really crisp, you can up that. Next, we're going to have audio. Now we did already look at this, but this is where you can change what those audio sources are or disable them if you want. Next, we're going to have our video. So for some of you, your internet might not be fast enough on the upload side. And so the best thing you could do is drop the output to something a little bit smaller. Now, 1920 by 1080 or 1080p as it's known is going to be your default. But for a lot of you, 720 might be better, as that is going to make it less upload bandwidth that's needed, so that way your machine isn't, being overloaded, or maybe your internet's just not fast enough to handle it. You can bump that down. So now our canvas is still 1920 by 1080, which is the size of our monitor, but the output to Twitch is 1280 by 720. If you're still having issues, try dropping down your frame rate to 30. It won't look as nice on stream, but if that's what your internet can handle, then that's going to be the best option for you. Hotkeys is going to let you go ahead and just run through. You can do whatever you want in here. You can make it so to start streaming, it's Control-Alt-Shift-O or whatever you would like. You would just save those in there. That's pretty self-explanatory. You can go through all that if you need to. Accessibility is basically kind of like a colorblind mode, so you can turn that on and do different colors if they're easier for you to see. And lastly, we have advanced, so you have your video renderer, your color format, all this stuff. Honestly, if you're new to streaming, just ignore this, and I would not worry about it. The one thing you might want to do is stream delay. You'll see that on some bigger streamers that to avoid what they call stream snipers, they can turn on a delay. And this way you have a 20-second delay from what you are actually doing to when it actually hits Twitch. I hope this video has helped you guys get your OBS set up the way that you want. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. If you want me to go into more detail about like how mine is set up personally, or how I remove the background for my video without a green screen, just let me know and I can definitely make that for you. As always, guys, have a wonderful day, and if you liked this video, please drop a like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment, as that does help me out. Until next time, GG's, and have a good night.